In my previous video, I talked about depression and the signs and symptoms. Do check it out. So, did you know that we have different types of depression? They're 9 in number. Stick with me. Let's decipher them and how they manifest. The first one is situational depression. This kind of depression is resulted by prolonged sadness. It is triggered by a life-changing, unexpected event such as loss of a loved one or loss of one source of income. We are in the middle of a pandemic. As a result, most people, sadly, who have lost their jobs during this period are likely to suffer from situational depression. Secondly, major depression. People with major depression experience recurrent episodes of depression throughout their lives. It is considered a bad case of depression and a very serious one. Those suffering from this type of depression do not feel good about themselves. They can be suicidal or have feelings of self-harm, but they never pull through with this. What you and I consider basic skills or things we do on a daily basis that we do seamlessly become difficult, confusing, and too much to contemplate for someone with this type of depression. The third kind is psychotic depression. This kind of depression is characterized by hallucinations, which is seeing and hearing things that are not there, delusions, and being catatonic, which is a state of muscular rigidity and mental stupor. You must have heard of bipolar depression. This type is also known as manic depressive disorder. It is characterized by a mixture between the two extremes of feeling very low, or rather known as the depressive episode, and periods of feeling very high, or the mania episode. Let's look at seasonal affective disorder. Do you know that basking under the sun is good for your mental health? This kind of depression occurs at the same time each year due to lack of natural sunlight during winter months. So this will definitely affect the people in Western countries more than those in African countries. But this does not mean that people in African countries can't be affected either. It occurs among people who are sensitive to lower amounts of light and typically found to start at age 20. It is most common in women than men. However, men typically display the most severe symptoms if affected. It is characterized by lack of interest in normal activities, high carbohydrate cravings, social withdrawal, weight gain, and fatigue. Next is premenstrual dysphoric depression. This kind of depression affects women. The sad bit is, it often goes untreated. Why? Because it is considered normal. It occurs in the second half of the menstrual cycle, affecting the person's ability to function normally. It usually commences a week or two before a woman's period and waits off 2 or 3 days after menstruation starts. Equally important is atypical depression. It is characterized by heaviness of the limbs. One feels like the arms and legs are heavy. It is also characterized by oversleeping, overeating, and irritability. We also have persistent depressive disorder or dysthymia. This type of depression is characterized by a persistent low mood that lasts for a long period of time. The person can't remember ever feeling happy or good about oneself and can always be perceived as sullen, cranky, or pessimistic. It's more like he or she is living on autopilot. If you know someone like this, let them know help is within reach. Finally, postpartum or perinatal depression. This kind of depression occurs in mothers who have just given birth. This is as a result of sharp changes in hormonal levels after childbirth. It is characterized by a sense of disconnect from their babies, a fear of hurting their young one, intense sadness, anxiety and exhaustion that is strong and lasts longer than the relatively mild symptoms of depression and anxiety many new mothers experience. This kind of depression should not be ignored. It cannot also be wished away. One has to seek professional help and support. Watch out for new mothers around you, and if you notice the symptoms in them, refer them to a professional for help. Note that among these different types of depression, some are more severe than others, but they are equally as important in seeking the right professional help.